of grace that the Methodists pin their hopes on.
No, it's off now.
Prevenient grace simply means it's already there. If you can accept it, your sins have been forgiven. If you can accept it, grace surrounds you. If you can accept it, you have no reason to feel guilty about the things that you've done in your life.
The seconds are moving.
You know the old story, I think I told it before, of the priest who heard communion, or who heard confession in the convent home of the nuns. He said listening to the sisters confess their sin is like being stoned to death with popcorn. Their level of sinning doesn't reach a very high level, and some of ours is pretty much low-level stuff too. But to think that we aren't part of the sinning crowd, if we're not part of the tax collectors, then we become part of the Pharisees. And we want to tell everyone, oh, I'm better than that. I would never stoop that low. And maybe we wouldn't. But God doesn't expect us to stand around and brag about it. Paul wrote in his letter to Timothy, a close personal friend, he said, I, among all, have no reason to be proud of myself. I murdered Christians. I blasphemed God. I persecuted people. I'm the worst of the worst. And yet, Christ picked him to be his spokesperson. None of us come with enough raw talent to just take over and be everything Christ needs us to be. None of us can expect to be that good. None of us. Justifying grace. That's the grace we find when we do understand that Christ is in our hearts, Christ is in our life, and Christ is all we need in our lives. And the things we do cease to be the pettiness. And if we're going to sin, we're going to sin big time. But the wonderful thing is justifying grace is being that one lost sheep that is brought home. That one coin that you find. Now, yeah, I'm going to tell it. We hunted the house over for some eardrops because my wife had a little infection in one ear and couldn't find it. And so we got a prescription. You know how much ear antibiotic? Anybody want to buy half the bottle? I need to recoup my losses here. Last night after we got home, and she was emptying her travel bag, I'm not going to go any further than that. No, it was separate. So, finding, and she came out in all her glory, look what I found. And I said, look what I bought. Justifying grace means that we are in conversation with Jesus Christ. We are understanding of His grace around us. We are able to know that we are one with Him. But we aren't perfect. We are still that sinner, that sheep that's gone over the hill, or the coin that's lost. Oh yeah, even the eardrops that are in the bottom of the bag where they've been for the last couple of years. But grace means I love her anyway. Because Christ loved me anyway. And what have I lost? What have I lost? What have I put aside and misplaced that separated me from Him for a while? Oh, it's almost a daily thing. that I realized that I got angry over nothing, that I let something upset me that had no business touching my life. Yeah, I need to be rescued. Not just once, but over and over and over again. For I will stray just like the sheep do. Sheep are the dumbest animals in the world. If there's a storm, they all stand with their back to the wind. That sounds smart, right? But they just keep pushing forward, pushing forward, pushing forward. And if they happen to get in a place where there's no room to the side, the ones in the very front of the flock will die because they are pressured until they can no longer breathe. God doesn't want us to give ourselves up that way. He wants us to be aware that He is the power in our life, not the wind driving us, not even the sun shining on us to warm us, but He is the power in our life. He is the one who gives us and allows us to share that justifying grace of being aware of your relationship with Jesus Christ. Prevenient grace comes before you understand, before you recognize, before you know that you have a relationship with Christ. Justifying grace means that you're aware of it. You're not perfect, but you're being perfected. And sanctifying grace. That's the ultimate. That's the end result. That's, for almost all of us, the last day. Oh, there are a few saints in your life that you know. Mother-in-laws are all saints. Well, close enough. But sanctification becomes when you are made perfect. And you're only made perfect when you are fully able to understand and grasp your love for Christ. And for most of us, that's in the last moments. That's when you look back. That's when you look forward and realize that Christ is all there is. As long as we have decisions to make, as long as we have opportunities to decide things, we will make some wrong decisions. The young man who went to work for a very prestigious corporation, and he went in to see the president of the corporation. And he said to the president of the corporation, "How do you function so well? You make great decisions." And the president of the company said, "Experience. Experience, that's how you make good decisions." And the young man said to the president of the company, "Well, how do you get experience?" He said, "You make bad decisions." We make bad decisions every day. Oh, they're little ones, and we can brush them away, and it's kind of like being stoned to death with popcorn, right? They aren't earth-shaking decisions that are wrong. They aren't problems that we create for the world. They're just little things. I try to do crosswords in pen. And there's only so many times you can cross out letters and still read them. But I still do them in pen. Because I'm an egotist. And I know all the words. Eventually. We make decisions every day without even realizing it. We make decisions every hour without even realizing that we just made a decision to turn away from Christ. But the wonder of wonders is that prevenient grace, that justifying grace, still hangs around us, and it's there for us even when we're gaining experience by making bad decisions. I don't mean that you wasted money. I don't even mean that you committed any grievous sin. But every once in a while, you have to bite your tongue in a discussion with somebody you really care about. Because they just said something that was really stupid, didn't they? And you better not comment. You just better not. Because that would be a really bad decision. Don't even look at you. Those are simple things, and we do them all the time. I have to confess, I lost my temper yesterday at the church conference because they had registered Erna as an alternate, which meant she didn't get to vote. And so she didn't get a blue card. And I went and explained in a very gentle, teal way to the lady at the registration desk that she should have been given a set of voting cards. Now, I suppose you think I'm going to explain exactly. She said, well, you'll have to talk to the lady with the computer. Have you got a few minutes? And I said in a very nice way, no. I want the cards. She looked me in the eye and gave me the cards. And wrote my name down, I think. I just got my new license. It's supposed to be July 1, but I got it yesterday. And I may lose it tomorrow. I don't think so, because grace surrounds me. Grace abounds in me. Grace is all that I can hang my hat on. All of these decisions, all of these mistakes, all of these experience gathering things are wasted unless we understand that in it all, the love of Christ, the grace of Christ, is the only thing that carries us through from this day to the end of time for us. That is sanctifying grace. We sang grace alone will see you through. Grace alone is our gift from God. Grace alone.